कौन कहता है कि आसमान में छेद नहीं हो सकता? एक पत्थर तो तबीयत से उछाल के देखो यारो।
I always come back to this quote whenever a filmmaker attempts something unique, for it is so rare in our industry that is mostly inundated with regular commercial slop. I've come to the conclusion that I will always be encouraging for the film's producers and filmmakers who go out of their way to make the ambitious, to go out on the limb to attempt the audacious, to venture into territory that filmmakers dare not do, and if they do it in such a manner like Indian cinema has never seen before. So if it's going to be a universe of superheroes deeply rooted in ancient Indian history, each representing astras that turn into a delicious cocktail of sci-fi and fantasy, I will back it till the end result, only to judge it for what it is. If it's a dystopian era aimed at highlighting the deep dark complexities and disparities the human race may be headed towards, only for our gods to intervene and to correct the destructive ways of the select few, I will back it for the sheer vision that is being attempted, but judge it for every single marketing material that drops for what it is. If it's to do with an epic like Ramayana, the way the sacred text deserves, of a technical brilliance, investment and talent like never seen before, I will back it, but also criticize it if I find faults. In all of this, it's important to note that while I will always have an empathetic lens towards filmmakers who go out of their way to venture into uncharted territory or risky territory, it also becomes our prerogative to call out elements that seem half-baked, that seem janky, or that seem premature. Ambitious projects cannot hide under the guise of their scale and sheer vision, so much so that everyone feels pity for filmmakers for merely attempting something grand. The defense cannot be to label every criticism leveled against the films as hate. The scale, vision and what is being attempted by S.S. Rajamouli with Varanasi is extremely risky. And I think it's important to note the chronology in which things have developed, the level of detailing the filmmaker has gone to make sure that we get a glimpse of his world, and most importantly, what really seems concerning about this project. It's insane to me that people are surprised that an S.S. Rajamouli movie and its marketing materials is under heavy scrutiny, criticism or a magnifying lens. This is the #1 director of this country, a man whose next project everyone is waiting to see with bated breath. The expectations are sky high and there will be an analysis of every single detail. I really do connect with the protective sentiment everyone has towards S.S. Rajamouli because his career has been faultless and he is revered in this industry as one of the GOATs, but that also does not mean that everything that he creates needs to be labeled as a masterpiece. So let's dive deep. The Globetrotter event that happened yesterday was absolutely grand, and a lot of aspects of the event really did not go as well as one intended. The hosting skills were questionable, Suma really holding the ship afloat when there was any kind of tension or awkwardness, and there was this visible frustration of S.S. Rajamouli with the first look of the film being leaked and things not being structured as they should have been. I'll come to the very concept of these live events a little later, but let's speak about all the marketing material that has dropped and honestly, assess each detail. The first poster that had dropped from this project was Prithviraj as the antagonist Kumbh, a wheelchair-ridden pale figure who has mechanical arms behind the chair, and the look rightfully was being called out as being an amalgamation of Professor X, Doc Ock, and even Carl from Krish 3. And the look itself from the poster not really being the real problem, but the setting in which he was placed and the size of the character in the environment was actually the problem, being rather one-tone and generic. The presence of him in the poster also made him rather meek and minuscule, lacking the aura one would associate with antagonists that are intended to be intimidating. It became a rather awkward start to the marketing of this much anticipated movie, and then everyone was keen to jump the gun to confirm the conspiracy that S.S. Rajamouli intentionally puts out mid-marketing material out to the public so that the expectations are so low that eventually everyone becomes surprised about the product in theaters. I mean, if S.S. Rajamouli can make a revenge thriller like a Makhi engaging, then I'm stuck with the motto of "In S.S. Rajamouli I trust" after all the chatter. The Globetrotter event was getting its home on Jio Hotstar, where it was going to be streamed live, and what seems to be the case regarding the first single that they dropped with Shruti Hassan is that it is only intended for the live event. I must say though, the music composed by M.M. Keeravani and the vocals by Shruti Hassan really presented an operatic and grand feeling, ideal for the scale and vision that is being attempted with this movie. This was followed by the other character poster featuring Priyanka Chopra as Mandakini, the name referring to the sacred river of Ganga, and who was found sporting a yellow sari wielding a gun while again being placed against the backdrop of what seems like a poorly rendered CGI world. While I felt like this was an upgrade from Prithviraj's look, I still could feel a sense of caution creep in, for those worlds built from imagination, at least in India, often produce really mediocre results. I'm specifically talking about the background in which Priyanka Chopra is placed in the poster. Irrespective, I am absolutely elated to see Priyanka Chopra in a full-blown commercial Indian movie after so long. A bona fide star in her own right, who looked absolutely magical in the live event, and I think she is respected and offered much more compelling work in India than in the West, and I hope she builds on re-establishing her career as a leading lady in her home turf after this film. Finally, the event went into full gear yesterday, and I think much to the frustration of viewers and especially SS Rajamouli, things were not going as one had planned. I understand the intention behind getting Ashish Chanchliani to host in order to lead to more traffic and interest from the Hindi speaking audience, and I really empathize with Ashish trying to fit into the space, but it did not really come together, especially in terms of the chemistry and flow of conversations. It can be a really intimidating task to be put in the ringer with such stalwarts and for everything to go perfectly and smoothly. But as I previously said, Suma really is on another level with decades of MCing and hosting that she was in some way keeping the show going. I think the very concept of these live events is also becoming stale and outdated, and yes, this is an outsider's perspective who acknowledges that these live events are intended for the real fans to see their favorite stars in the flesh. But I think the organization of a lot of these events are haphazard and don't really lend in giving justice to the film's content, especially when the makers believe that it's a good idea to get the hero to sit on a mechanical robot looking extremely awkward rather than the grand image that they might have had in their head. I understand that the goal here was even bigger, with the international media all flying in. The intention is far beyond emotional and passionate speeches of actors and directors. It's about putting Telugu cinema and Varanasi on a global map, while mostly speaking in your native language, which I thought was an absolute Chad move by the makers. But the format of these live events are recycled and lack any kind of novelty. As more time passed, the first thing that dropped was Mahesh Babu's poster, and I have to be very honest with you, I am absolutely willing to get massacred in the process. Hey, this comes with the territory of film criticism, especially when it is about the country's favorite stars. When I saw the poster in isolation, when I saw the poster without the Varanasi to the world snippet that dropped, I swear to God, I would not be able to differentiate between this being an SS Rajamouli film or a Boyapati Srinu film. The dust-covered aesthetic as the Telugu hero looks intensely has been done so often that it lacked even the simplicity and effectiveness of the first poster of Varanasi that just presented the chest of Mahesh Babu wearing the pendant, representative of him being an avatar of Lord Shiv. While I was again doing my all is well chants, hoping and praying that the conspiracy of SS Rajamouli intentionally dropping mid-marketing material was true, the teaser of the potential of this universe titled Varanasi to the world dropped, and it truly was the silver lining for me of this entire marketing run till now. I think it's important to understand that other than the posters, a lot of what we are seeing are like pitch decks used by companies to provide a quick overview of their company to potential investors, partners, or clients, or think of it as the early stage documents created by architects prior to construction, the schematic designs and 3D models before the final call is taken. This snippet is providing us a glimpse of the world we may get in with the movie. I do not know why the makers were so keen to drop such material 2 years prior to its release. I sometimes wonder whether the makers were rather premature in putting this out to the public, but this truly was something that was the most riveting to watch and deduce. We have been so riddled with AI slop in our timelines that we can't even distinguish between what is produced with AI prompts and what has been carefully crafted through CGI rendering. The VFX supervisor of the film confirmed that all the shots from the teaser are VFX shots other than the one featuring Mahesh Babu. The teaser transitions from several locations and timelines, first presenting to us Varanasi in 512 CE, where a puja is taking place and energies are floating into the air, only for the Earth to be ravaged in 2027 by asteroid Shambhavi, that I would presume has a lot of the Earth in ruins. This is where the themes of action-adventure the film will attempt to explore get shown, an interesting balance between the present and the past in each frame. The Ross Ice Shelf is presented with explorers wanting to climb it, only to showcase a ship wrecked underwater, almost to allude as if these attempts to find something have happened for centuries and have failed. It may also provide us a hint on the explorer that Rudra, played by Mahesh Babu, is, who is willing to go into the territory that seems scary and bleak, all in the hope that something magical will be on the other side. What I presume with the slide that presents us an African forest and an individual parachuting his way into the wild is that Rudra will be an explorer who understands that there is a technique by which one can not only explore the secrets of the worlds we reside in, but also the portals that may take you into a different world. Understanding how in the current world there may be avatars that will provide him a bridge to reach another yug. This is showcased through an individual helping out a monkey from being ravaged by hippos. A hint probably on how animals in the current world may be avatars of Hindu gods that provide him way and direction to the Treta Yuga. The Ugrabati cave where presumably Mandakini is falling from the sky and Rudra is attempting to save her may be the means through which he can reach the battle between Lord Ram and Ravan. I say this because the assumption is that Prithviraj may have instructed an explorer like Rudra in the initial phase of the film to find him an antidote or a Sanjeevani booty that will allow him to be immortal, and it may just be possible to discover the same if he can get a portal into the Treta Yuga. Something that I say because when the film's teaser transitions into presenting us the grand image of Lord Hanuman, we see a chariot being ridden with someone on a wheelchair behind him. This may be Rudra guiding Kumbh through the Treta Yuga because they have understood that the location of the antidote, crazily, is in the midst of the war that is happening in Lanka. Beautifully presenting us an image of Lord Ram held up by the Vanar Sena as the intimidating towering figure of Kumbhkaran charges towards them. There are quotes of S.S. Rajamouli saying on how he was absolutely overwhelmed in seeing the image of Mahesh Babu as Lord Ram, and it makes me wonder what his character Rudra represents then, because the assumption through the name is that he is an avatar of Lord Shiv. Many have concluded that he may draw parallels with Lord Hanuman as well, because Hanuman is also considered to be an avatar of Lord Shiv, but the image of Mahesh Babu as Lord Ram slightly confused me on how they will create this parallel. Finally, I think the most underwhelming aspect of the teaser is actually the frame of Mahesh Babu in this dust-covered aesthetic as he rides what is modelled around Nandi. This frame is rather basic, seems premature with its aesthetic, and I can't help but feel seems rather half-baked than something that what deserves to be in the public eye. Had they left it just with the vision of the film, I think it would have fared way better, because I think the visual presented of Mahesh Babu may also not feature in the film. The vision of Varanasi to the world still had me hopeful, as what is being attempted is absolutely grand and ambitious. The score by M.M. Keeravani also contributing to the beauty of the visuals. However, the snippets that seem like slight hiccups also need to be called out, irrespective of whether they will feature in the ultimate edit or not, making the entire chronology of events rather dramatic, full of surprises, a lot of speed breakers, yes, and the only thought that keeps me going is, in S.S. Rajamouli I trust. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what were your thoughts on the marketing materials that have dropped for Varanasi. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handles are right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.